Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Sunday, January 11th. Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith with you. Sunday NHL slate. We have a 5-spot on tap for this Sunday. We'll get to that in just a moment. We'll recap Saturday. But first, Alex, we got to congratulate you for the Chicago Bears. A huge victory last night against the Green Bay Packers. What a game that was. Both games delivered in the wild card playoffs yesterday in the NFL. I don't think anybody had Rams-Panthers being a great football game on their bingo card. That game turned out to be very entertaining, and what an unbelievable comeback by the Chicago Bears. Twice they have done it now against the Green Bay Packers at Soldier Field. 21-3 down, no problem. Bears advance.
Yeah, it had the feelings of a classic game early when you saw the snow blowing, the wind. It just felt like like that old school kind of affair. And then at first you get this, big rush where, okay, the Bears start getting off on a great drive. Then they just completely fall flat offensively. The defense starts getting carved up by Jordan Love and company. And it looks like it's going to be a runaway for Green Bay. But the kicking game, and I talked to some Packer fans during the season. I said, Brandon McManus, I said, he's not the best kicker in the world. When you need him in clutch times, he can be iffy. And we saw him miss a couple field goals, miss the extra point. And those were spots that the Bears were finally able to lead to, capitalizing on those advantages. And then when you get the big throw from, as I call him, Nails, Caleb Williams to DJ Moore to get that touchdown. Once again, DJ Moore catching a pass to beat the Packers. It's something that's wonderful to see. Seeing all the reactions from everybody in the stadium, partying all around the city. It's a wonderful thing.
Well, that place was rocking last night when that comeback was being mounted. Yep.
First playoff win in 15 years. So it's a beautiful thing for the city.
What a turnaround in 1 year. Think about how awful Eberflus was and how awful the team culture was under his watch. And look where it is now in 1 year under Ben Johnson. They absolutely hit the lottery with this guy, hiring him.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's fantastic. So now we wait and see who get in the divisional round.
And I'll be honest, he fucking out-adjusted and coached the living shit out of Matt LaFleur in the second half. You talk about adjustments and quality coaching. There's no better example of it than that. And to be honest, it wouldn't be a Green Bay Packers devastating loss without special teams fucking them over. I mean, special teams has just been so bad for them over the years. They got block punt, lost them a football game against San Francisco years ago.
The onside kick, the tight end where it bobbled his hands in Seattle. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Plenty of blunders for the green and gold. The green and yellow, I should say.
Yeah, special teams not so special here for the Green Bay Packers. But that was a great game. Congrats to the Bears. It was a great NHL slate. It was a great NHL betting day for me overall. Very good results for the most part. More wins than losses, to be sure. The first game was an absolute bloodbath. The New York Rangers getting absolutely annihilated by the Boston Bruins, and on national television to boot, because that was an ABC game. 10-2, a thumping by the Bruins over the Rangers. We had a ton of fun in our group chat trying to bet these multiple Bruins to get a hat trick. I think many of us jumped on Marat Husnudinov to get a hat trick live. I know I was able to snag 15-1 at Bet365 in the third period for Marat Husnudinov to get a hat trick, and sure enough, I hit it. There's so many people in our group chat that hit it as well live. As he got the hat trick goal. I know Jonathan got a little greedy and went for a Fraser Minton hat trick. That one didn't pan out, but he went after it later in the game. He was after it. Can you imagine that? That's how bad it was for the Rangers. They allowed two different Bruin players to get a hat trick, Pavel Zacha, Marat Husnudinov, and then you had Fraser Minton, who was knocking on the door of a hat trick. One goal shy of a third Bruins player that could have had the hat trick yesterday. So that tells you all you need to know how awful that was for the Rangers. Puke was a word that I think JT Miller used to describe that loss after it was over. So not a good feeling for the New York Rangers. And absolutely, I'm very, very interested to see what kind of response we get here from the New York Rangers in their next game, coming off a thumping such as that. Calgary, nice win for them. Devin Cooley continues to give this team more good than bad in net. 2-1 in favor of the Calgary Flames, stopping the win streak for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was really good in net, real solid for the Flames, and they needed every bit of it because Calgary's just not scoring goals right now. 2 is like the high water mark for them lately. But 2 was enough yesterday for the Calgary Flames to beat the Pittsburgh Penguins and snap the Penguins' win streak. How about the San Jose Sharks, man? What a comeback. Again, this team, the Cardiac Sharks. I mean, my goodness, they're never out of a game. They look like they're down and out 4-2. Dallas is going to just, put the game away because we know they're good enough to shut you down with a lead. That's why they're one of the better teams. But no siree. The San Jose Sharks come back. They make it 4-3. They tie it late in the third. Adam Gaudette. And then Tyler Toffoli, who got one of the goals in the third, wins it on a power play in overtime. And wouldn't you know it, Macklin Celebrini, shocker of shockers, involved in the overtime winner. He's been unbelievable lately for the Sharks. And what a comeback for them, 4-2 down to take it 5-4 in overtime. And snap what had been a very long head-to-head winning streak for the Dallas Stars over the San Jose Sharks. What a win for San Jose. And now they're heating up again. And we'll get to see them in action again tonight as they're involved in a back-to-back hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. And another over for San Jose. What else is new? What is it? It's 11-0-1 to the over now for this San Jose team in their last 12 games. And that one was a no-sweat winner. Well, we lost the over with Columbus, Colorado. Colorado did enough. I mean, I thought they would actually score more than 4 against Merzlikins in Columbus, but the problem was we got nothing from Columbus in that game. And give credit to Trent Miner, a 29-save shutout for Trent Miner, who got the start yesterday for the Colorado Avalanche, and a nice, just comfortable cruise to victory, 4-0 win there for Colorado. We turn to the night games. Another loss for Ottawa. They lose 3-2 to Florida in that game. Panthers get the job. We fall short with the over, but we do cash with Florida in that game as the Panthers get it done.
Did catch the parlay in that, though, 4.5. That's why I like doing that the parlay combination sometimes. If you had that Florida with the over 4.5, that was a winner.
Yeah, no doubt. That was absolutely a good call there. Panthers and over 4.5 parlay, always worth a mention. And these struggles continue for Ottawa. In Maryland, it was a little bit better, but still one of those goals I thought he should have had. And again, that continues to be a recurring problem right now for the Ottawa Senators. And they're losing ground in the wild card race as they seem to be falling behind the pack that is ahead of them. And one of those teams ahead of them, what a thumping. 5-0 for the Toronto Maple Leafs over Vancouver. What a run for the Leafs. Terrific. That's now, I've lost track now. It's 18 points. Or no, sorry. It's in their last 9 games. It's 16 points out of a 16 out of a possible 18 points now for the Leafs in their last 9 games. I mean, they're right back in it. And Leaf Nation is excited again about what they're. You know what I'm excited about for the Leafs? They're winning the right way. They're shutting it down. Goaltending's been great. How about the penalty kill for them? Now they're the number 1 penalty kill in the NHL after last night. It's been ridiculously good for them. Phenomenal. Like nobody can score on the power play anymore lately against the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's been really something to watch. And now to make matters even better for the Leafs, Jake McCabe comes back from injury last night. So now this defense gets solidified even more. William Nylander comes back from injury, and what a return for him. I think he had a 3-point night for the Leafs last night in that 5-0 victory. So tell you right now, Toronto's at the moment. Now this can change because it's Toronto, but at the moment they're a scary team, and they're playing some really good hockey, and they've got a big West Coast trip coming up. How about a game Monday night if we look ahead for a minute? Leafs at Colorado. How good of a test is that going to be for this Leafs team to really show where they're at?
And we said that too. We said that about Colorado with that game, that would be kind of a big jump start to have the year coming off of a game against Florida. So that's huge.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, people were wondering if they were going to finish last in the division and last in the conference about a month and a half ago. And now here we are. Yeah, parade's back on, apparently, Jonathan. You're right. But no doubt it is going to be a lot of fun here as far as how this plays out with them. Tampa, 7-2 over Philly. And I'm glad I simmered down on the Philly look once I saw that Ersson was in net, and good reason for that. They light him up, Tampa Bay, for 7 goals. But another over for Philly with this angle. Keep that in mind. 1 goal or fewer off a game like that. Philadelphia is now 9-1 to the over in games where they've scored 1 or less the previous game. Tampa routs the Flyers 7-2 in that game. That's 9 straight wins now for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and in every victory they've scored at least 4 goals. So Tampa Bay team totals, if you ever see them too highly priced as a favorite, just bet their team total over, because they've been scoring 4+ in every single game during this 9-game win streak. Carolina, I'll tell you what, good effort on the road from Seattle, but Carolina comes back to beat them 3-2 last night. Wasn't my bargain bin. Maybe should have been, but Logan Stankoven gets another goal for the Carolina Hurricanes last night. Bussy solid in net, and a nice comeback win for the Canes as they beat the Kraken 3-2. What a performance by Detroit. In Montreal, Canadians were playing well, and the Red Wings put up a goose egg, 4-0. They shut out the Montreal Canadiens. A really great performance from John Gibson again. John Gibson, man, since the beginning of December, he's been absolutely outstanding, and he out-dueled Jacob Fowler in net, and the Red Wings get a 4-0 win there. How about my best bet with Anaheim Buffalo over? How about this? I mean, this thing looked done, finished as far as the over, and then just an explosion. It got to 4-0 Buffalo, and then quickly with about 4 minutes left, it got to 4-1. They scored again with about 2 minutes, just under 2 left, to make it 4-2 Anaheim. So obviously that brings the pull the goalie, decision into play, because it's a 2-goal game with 2 minutes left. You pull the goalie in that scenario. And then with the extra attacker, Anaheim scores again to make it 4-3, and then Buffalo finally puts it away into the empty net and wins 5-3. Back from the dead, we cashed the best bet on the show with Anaheim Buffalo over 6.5. So that was great to see. 8 straight overs now for the Anaheim Ducks, and 10-1 to the over in their last 11 games, and Buffalo 13-1 in their last 14 games as they get another win. And can you believe the Buffalo Sabres, after that win last night, they're wild card 1 in the Eastern Conference right now. Amazing. Yeah. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. It ain't dropping. Right. And how about Josh Doan, Robinson's good buddy? Great game again from him. He gets in a scrap with Ryan Strome last night. He won that scrap handily, Josh Doan. So way to go. What? Not just because the Robinsons know him, but the more I watch him, the more he's becoming one of the favorite players to watch, honestly. Yeah. His game is just great. It's hard. It's physical. He can score. He's got talent. He's got skill. He doesn't mind dropping gloves, sticking up for teammates. He does things the right way. He's professional when he speaks to the media. He's
just like his old man.
Yeah, like his old man, brought up well, very polite, good guy, that kind of thing. It's just everything with Josh Doan, just what you want, as a hockey player on your team. No question about that. Chicago, what a job by them. Your Blackhawks, undermanned, riddled with injury, riddled with the flu bug, I should say, and the stomach virus. And on a back-to-back, after playing the night before, probably getting into Nashville late, you shut out Nashville 3-0 last night. Congratulations, Drew Commesso. Your first NHL win, and it's an NHL shutout. Unbelievable stuff. 37 saves in that victory for Drew Commesso. Well done. And like I said, give Chicago credit. That was gutsy. And I don't know how many people saw it because the Bears were playing at the same time. But nevertheless, great job by the Blackhawks in a tough spot with players battling the stomach bug to find a way to beat Nashville. They're 3-0 last night. The Islanders come back for us. Now, I was disappointed they didn't score the first goal because we had first goal, first period. But they came back. They beat the Wild 4-3 in overtime. And get the plus money cash as an underdog for us there. I will say this. Let's give Minnesota some credit. They actually outplayed the Islanders, and Sorokin was really good. And for the Wild to get a point out of that game in that spot, first game after a brutally long 7-game road trip, they hadn't been home since Christmas, to play that well, you actually should have won the game, to be honest with you, if you're Minnesota, and get at least a point out of that. That's a tip of the cap to the Minnesota Wild. Well done, because that's a brutal spot. And to play as well as they did last night in that spot, they deserve credit for that, no question. And then in the late night hours, a couple of overs come through for us. St. Louis, Vegas, 4-2 win there for Vegas over the St. Louis Blues as the struggles of Binnington continue. And then L.A., just to make sure Jim Hiller sticks around for another few weeks, they get the job done 4-3 against the Edmonton Oilers in a shootout, another over winner for us. I think that's now 8 straight overs for the LA Kings. Can you believe it? Yeah. 8 straight overs involving the Los Angeles Kings. Never would have thought that. All right, Alex, thoughts on Saturday?
Yeah, so I did not get to see a lot of the games that you mentioned. This is a rare Saturday where, like I said, with the Bears being on, I did watch most of the Hawks game and flip back and forth between that and with the Wild. So those are two games I watched. Like I said, the Wild certainly outplayed the Owls in that contest, and that's a game they could have easily won 4-1, 5-1. But the Owls, like I said, it's a team that we talk about it all the time. There's so many games that they've won this year where we say, oh, they wouldn't have won that game 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. This is a different style of Islander team, and to have the fortitude on the road to get that victory, get that second point, is big for them as well. So that was a fun game to watch. Like I said, Drew Comesso, what a difference a day makes when you give a guy time to settle in with the team and say, hey, you're going to be the starter. He can go through his routine, and you also have a defense that played a hell of a lot better in front of him, in this game, and you're able to steal a win. I talk about those 50 games where you get a win, and that's what defines your season. That's a win in the 50 column for sure for the Hawks. That's a stolen victory in the first of hopefully many for Drew Comesso's career with the Blackhawks, because he is supposed to be the future moving forward. And he certainly played like that last night, so that's a good win for him. Unfortunately, did not get the goals we needed from Nashville early, and that kind of set the tempo of the game. Nashville was firing. Nashville had tons of chances early in that contest, but the defense played well, and it seemed like Nashville's legs kind of gave out on them. And that's something to note, because Nashville is back in action tonight. We've got a trend with them on the back-to-backs that really doesn't support the Preds so much. So.
No, it doesn't. You're right. And they are in action again. And yes, Trent Miner's shutout against Columbus yesterday for Colorado was his first NHL shutout as well. Yeah. So credit to him for that. Didn't come in his second game, though, like it did for Drew Comesso. Right. He has had a few more games under his belt, but still very impressive nevertheless. All right, we'll get into Sunday. Let's begin. We got a couple of afternoon games. This one is at 2 o'clock Eastern time, 2 p.m. Eastern time, New Jersey at Winnipeg. We've got Winnipeg minus 125 home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. This is that, you snap a long losing streak, and usually I like to back teams like that. And I'll tell you this is a one-way game for me. It would either be Jets or nothing. I don't think I can touch the New Jersey Devils right now, because I tried them against Pittsburgh off the 9-0 debacle against the Islanders, and they lose 4-1. They still can't score goals. What do they got? 1 goal or fewer in 3 straight games going into this one. So the offense is completely stalled, completely dried up right now for the New Jersey Devils. I believe we're going to see Connor Hellebuck. I see no reason why we shouldn't, because obviously they gave Comrie the start on the back-to-back against Los Angeles, but I would think back to Hellebuck here. Jacob Markstrom will be in net for the New Jersey Devils here in this game.
I'm seeing Jake Allen confirmed.
Oh, it's Jake Allen. Oh, thank you very much.
Amanda Stein tweeted that out. So Jake Allen confirmed. Yeah.
All right, Jake Allen for New Jersey. Who's the better of the two? I think this season, for the most part, he has been the better of the two goaltenders. Hellebuck, he's been very good against Jersey. Very good numbers. There they are from Jonathan. It's just I'm not rushing to lay minus 125 with the Jets. It's Jets or pass for me, but I optimally said pass here in this game. And I've been riding the Jets games over the total, but I think I'm going to steer clear of it today. I just don't know if we're going to get New Jersey. I've given New Jersey so many chances to show me that they can step up offensively, and it's mind-boggling they're not scoring right now, because they got Hughes, they've got Gritschik, they've got Bratt, they've got Meyer, they've got obviously all their guys healthy up front, and they're just not finishing chances. They're getting breakaways, they're not scoring. They're getting odd man rushes, they're not scoring. They're getting clear-cut grade A scoring chances, they're not putting it in right now. And it has been multiple games it's been this way for the New Jersey Devils. So that's why it's hard for me to bet over when this team's not scoring, unless Winnipeg's going to win 6-0, or 5-1. I need to be able to count on New Jersey to put the puck in the net. And right now I can't do that. Alex, what do you think? Devils, Jets?
Yeah, this is a clear pass game. You can't trust Winnipeg to continue to string wins together with how bad that run was. And you realize who they beat, the LA Kings. We know how we feel about them. You can't trust the New Jersey Devils right now. And like I said, even with Jake Allen being the better goaltending option, is still this offense is what's the main issue. So this game's a pass for me as well.
Yeah, like I said, not a whole lot going on here for me in this one. All right, next up, we've got Pittsburgh, Boston. Pittsburgh minus 120 road favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. Shilov's got the start against the Calgary Flames yesterday, So that is worth noting because I'm pretty sure we're going to see Skinner obviously get the start here on the back-to-back for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Penguins have their losing streak snapped yesterday at the hands of the Calgary, or the winning streak, I should say, snapped at the hands of the Calgary Flames yesterday. Looking to bounce back here on the back-to-back today. This is just, I'd rather have the team off a loss than the team off a blowout win on a back-to-back. That's probably why I lean Pittsburgh here a little bit. But I'm not interested in laying a price on the road with Pittsburgh. But, Boston, that was just such an enjoyable win yesterday, 10-2. Is the focus going to be there today? Are they going to be dialed in today into this game against Pittsburgh coming off, a big-time win like that? The Bruins have owned the Penguins, 7-3 the last 10 meetings, 4 out of the last 5. They've also beaten this Pittsburgh Penguins team. It's actually started to trend under. We've seen 3 straight Penguin-Bruin games go under the total going into this one. And this does fall into that category of those Sunday unders that Jonathan Davis has been mentioning for weeks, that all these games, specifically the ones before, I believe it is 8 p.m. Eastern time, have been trending under. Hasn't been nearly as strong the last couple weeks, because I think last week and the week before, we saw a few more overs in these earlier Sunday games, but it's still been pretty strong overall for the season. That Sunday unders have been dominant in this league in the earlier games. So this one, this is another one where it's, not much. These are 2 games where I'm not all that excited about backing either team. Maybe lean to the draw slightly. I could see that, but that's about it here for me. Alex, what do you think? Penguins, Bruins.
Yep. I grabbed the draw earlier today at plus 340 over at Caesars. But like I said, looking at the unders and knowing that Sunday under trend, I'm going to go with FanDuel. The draw tied with under 7.5 makes it plus 355 instead of plus 280 with the draw. So I'll be combining those together along with just playing the straight draw.
All right, good stuff. Now, I said I don't have much here. I meant sides and totals. I do have stuff as far as props go. And, we got to keep riding the wave of Murat Husnadin. Now, look, I'm always leery of backing a guy off a hat trick. Sometimes, he kind of has a quiet game the next time out. But the fact remains, if he's going to stay on the top line, the value has to be taken advantage of right now with Murat Husnadinov for the Boston Bruins. So that's definitely a prop that I'm interested in. No question about that. And Korpisalo, by the way, will start for Boston. I'm sure of it because we saw Jeremy Swayman yesterday. So we should see Jonas Korpisalo here this afternoon for Boston. But yeah, Murat Husnadinov is definitely worth a look. Once again, like I said, and we were onto this the moment he got moved up to playing with Lindholm and Pasternak. There was definitely good value there with him, and we'll keep riding the wave with Mr. Husnadinov. Tommy Novak played with Crosby and Raquel on the top line yesterday. He got moved up there. If he stays up there, there's value. I'm going to ride the wave with Shinikov, too. Shinikov has scored now in multiple games since joining the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brazeau's a good look. I noticed that. He scored. He's a former Bruin, so the former player angles in play there with Justin Brazeau, and he has had success against Korpisalo in the past. So those are a couple of props. It's a good prop game. I'll say that. I don't have much side or total. It's not a bad prop game, though. There's some decent options out there when it comes to this Penguins. So I'll be definitely more involved in the prop side of things here when it comes to that game. All right, Columbus and Utah. This is a 7 p.m. Eastern puck drop. Utah minus 190, home favorites, 6 the total in this game. I mean, it's just a real tough time of it right now for the Columbus Blue Jackets, struggling. They lose to Vegas in their last game. They'll be looking to bounce back from that. It looks like we should see Jet Greaves in net here for this one on the back-to-back. They lost to Colorado, of course, shut out 4-0 yesterday by the Colorado Avalanche. Lost to Vegas before that. And then if you go back further, they lose 5-2 at San Jose. They blow a game completely against Pittsburgh at home last weekend and lose 5-4 in overtime. So it's been a rough 4-game losing streak here for the Jackets. Coming off a shutout loss against Colorado yesterday, looking to bounce back. Utah heating up, 3 straight wins. They're 2-0 on this current homestand. A homestand that's going to be a long one for Utah. They're going to be at Delta Center for a while. I'm just looking at it. After this game, they have Toronto coming in on Tuesday, Dallas on Thursday, and Seattle next Saturday. So a lot of home games coming up here for the Utah Mammoth, a Utah team that's got a respectable 11-7-1 home record. So this is a chance to build some momentum here in this game if you're the Utah Mammoth. It's a very tough scheduling spot for Columbus, and Jonathan's on top of what I was about to mention. It's altitude back-to-back days. Colorado yesterday, Utah tonight. It's 3-4, 5-9, 6-12 is insane. It's insane. It's almost, I don't want to say criminal because it's not like you're robbing somebody, but borderline criminal that NHL schedule makers would put a team in a 6 games in 12 days spot. That's insane. That kind of workload, that kind of amount of games in a short period of time. But welcome to the Olympic season, folks. That's the reason for it. And here's Columbus getting shafted here because of that. So it's very hard to put my money on Columbus in this spot. Struggling, travel catching up to them. Don't want to lay minus 190 with Utah. I'll say this about Columbus. You look at these recent games. They give up 4 to Colorado, 5 to Vegas, 5 to San Jose, 5 to Pittsburgh during this losing streak. If you want to back Utah, and it's certainly a spot advantage for them, take the team total over 3.5. And I hate to do it because I like Jet Greaves, but Jet Greaves can't play defense. And the team in front of him, and in front of either of these goalies right now for Columbus, you can tell they've got some defensive issues right now, the Blue Jackets. So I will give a lean to Utah team total over 3.5. Not sure I will bet it, though. What do you think, Alex? Columbus, Utah.
Yeah, like I said, these will be small bets. I've leaned with the draw based on the series history. We saw both meetings go past regulation last year, 3-2 to be exact, in overtime. Playing that small with Utah to win in overtime or shootout plus 500. But I like more, like I said, Utah team total over 3.5. You get that minus $1.08 and full game over 6. Like I said, Utah get that home cook in the next week and a half. I think they're going to be able to take advantage of getting some teams in there and getting their offense rolling. Like I said, even with Greaves in net, the defense has still been a little bit shaky for Columbus. But I expect Columbus to come through at least with some goals, especially after getting shut out. So this is where, Columbus will see a little bit more pushback and resistance. You're not playing as good of a team like you were as the Avalanche the night before. So I like the over as well, but Utah team total would be probably my strongest of the 4 bets that I have in this game.
Yeah, Nicholas's strategy is not the worst. I could see it. Where Columbus has energy early, adrenaline from, coming, and they'll be coming out strong, I think, early after getting shut out. But that's the legs give out in the second and in the third period in so many of these games. Just ask Ottawa when they were in Utah and then the next night in Colorado, and it just caved in on them in the second and third period.
Maybe a good Pearl special game. Columbus to score in the first period, Utah to score in the second period.
It's a good one. I think I might bet that. That sounds that sounds like a really good way to approach this. Columbus has the legs early, and then they peter out as the game goes on. That's exactly what happened to the Ottawa Senators earlier this week when they were in Utah the one night and they were in Colorado the next night. They just died. The legs died out in the last 2 periods in Colorado on that
plus 278. First period over a half for Utah Mammoth. Second period over. Wait a minute. Sorry, that's 1.5. Let me combine that properly. Minus 109.
Yeah.
So minus 109. Still a decent price.
Yeah. I'm actually going to put that on my card. Goal in the first period, Columbus. Goal in the second period, Utah. That makes a lot of sense. That's a good approach in this game. I think we could definitely see something like that here between these two teams. As far as props go for Jackets and Mammoth. Oh, by the way, I want to mention something about Jet Greaves because I did want to mention this. We all like him. We think there's a future for him in the NHL. He's shown enough quality at this level that we think he can be a steady NHL goalie, whether it's as a solid starter or at the very least, I think he can be a very good backup in this league, Jet Greaves. That's where I'm at with him. But I've got concerns. I do at the moment. Here's why. He's allowed 13 goals in his last 3 starts. Prior to Elvis getting the start yesterday, he had started 8 straight games and 14 of the last 15 Columbus games. The heavy workload might be catching up to him. Last year for the Jackets, Jet Greaves started 11 games. 11. Do you know how many he started already this season and we're barely into January? 30 games. He's already on the verge of tripling the number of starts he had last season. So I'm worried a bit, Alex, as much as we like this kid, that he's starting to wear down and fatigue a little bit with all the games he started. What do you think? Do you think that sounds about right? Because I think that's part of why we're starting to see the goals against go up a little bit for him.
Yeah, definitely. And I was just trying to get the hockey reference. I wanted to check and see where the minutes are. That's what you want to start really counting. How many games he played. And we talked about it actually early on in this year. He had a lot of his games go past regulation, go past shootout. Those things start to really add up as well now as you start talking about a goalie getting his first real crack at being a starter. And like I said, this was supposed to be a situation where Elvis is supposed to do his part enough to be a 1A, 1B situation. Now that we've headed into this point before just the Olympic break, this is Jet Greaves' net as the number one starter firmly. And, if they make a move, let's say Elvis gets moved out of town, then he's going to have the bulk of the games, especially if Columbus starts to win, continues to maybe stay afloat in this wild card race. Yeah, like I said, how long does the gas tank run with him? Yet to be seen.
Yep, no doubt. Like I said, that's definitely something that's a little concerning for me. That maybe the workload is adding up here a little bit too much for Jet Greaves. But as far as props go, Lawson Krause, man, we have to keep going back to it. It was a bargain bin winner for us on Friday in the win against St. Louis for this team. He continues to get that top line opportunity. So, like I said, going to continue to ride the wave right now with Lawson Krause right now on the top line for the Utah Mammoth. Like I said for Columbus, I've said all along that I think Denton Mateychuk, or not Denton Mateychuk, Kent Johnson, someone that I absolutely could start to heat up a bit for them. So that would be something I'd be interested in for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But for me, yeah, Krause is definitely of interest for me on that top line. Once again, he has been certain. Jersey Point, and by the way, there's a good one that Jonathan. I'm out of the shots on goal stuff. It frustrates me. But for those that do bet shots on goal props, Mikhail Sergachev over 1.5 shots on goal has cashed in 16 of Utah's 17 home games this season. So definitely that was something worth pointing out there in the chat. All right, we got 2 games left. Next up, Washington and Nashville. Washington minus 135, minus 140. Road favorites, 6.5 the total, depending on which book you look at. Nashville shutout, blanked by Drew Comesso and the illness ravaged Chicago Blackhawks last night. So I'm sure that was not something that Washington was very happy to have happen. But nevertheless, it did. And now we'll see if they can bounce back from it. Charlie Lindgren confirmed here in net tonight for the Washington Capitals in this game. Now, Tom Wilson's nearing a return. I don't know if it's going to be tonight. We'll have to wait and see. He is eligible to return today in Nashville. His time on the retroactive IR list now puts him in a spot where if he is able to play tonight, he can. So still day to day. Does he return tonight for the Capitals? We'll have to wait and see. Protas, of course, did play the other night for the Washington Capitals, but it is Charlie Lindgren here who will get the start for the Capitals in this game. Lindgren's numbers overall: 3.13 goals against, 890 save percentage. I don't love his form at the moment. 5-3, 3-4. The goals allowed in his last 4 starts. That's 15 goals in his last 4 starts combined. So not numbers trending in the right direction here for Charlie Lindgren. And as for Nashville, with UC Saros last night, do we see Useless Onanen here? Second night of a back-to-back. I think there's a reasonable chance of that. So that's all I'm waiting on, but I do have over-circled here with Washington and Nashville, waiting on that confirmation. I still might bet it anyway because Washington's been trending pretty nicely to the over here of late, entering this game. Whether it's been them giving up goals or them scoring goals, Washington entering this game on a decent overrun, other than the Dallas game and the first Chicago game, which almost went over. But other than that, we're looking at the Capitals being on a very strong 6-2 to the over in their last 8 games. And worth noting, 7 of the last 9 Washington Capitals games have had at least 6 goals scored. And obviously, so if you get the 6, shot for that 6, push might be the worst case scenario here tonight for this over. But I'm leaning that way. It'd probably make my card. Alex, what do you think? Caps, Preds.
Yeah, I like the Capitals in regulation here. I grabbed plus 120 this morning. I also have a interesting combo with a goal scoring prop that I like a little bit later for bargain bin. But I'll be looking to grab the over by Fecta in game. Wait a couple minutes for this to drop down to a 5.5 for the full game. Try and get a better price with the over 1.5. Like I said, Lindgren hasn't been that sharp, so we can see him give up some goals, but no way we could back useless on and a Nashville team that is 1-5 on the second night of back-to-backs.
Yeah, not good. Is that really his numbers against Washington specifically for Onanen? Robert Carlson in our chat posting 8 point. Well, it was only one start, but still
one game,
but
8.23 goals against and a 500 save percentage.
God, that's terrible. That's absolutely brutal. My gosh. Yeah, that ain't good at all. But now the one thing I did notice with the Washington Nashville here is, believe it or not, and 7 straight unders in the series. 7 straight unders head-to-head between Washington and Nashville. But I'd still have to be compelled to go against that if it's Lindgren versus Onanen in this goaltending matchup, which I probably will. As far as props go for this game, I've mentioned it's been basically the same cast of characters that I've talked about here lately for prop positions, prop opportunities, Protas, Sordiff, McMichael, anybody on that second line right now, McMichael, Sordiff, and Leonard. They've been a really good second line for the Washington Capitals lately. So that is definitely something to keep in mind, that I think that line, any 3 of them could be certainly good player prop, goal prop targets here tonight in this game. All right, let's wrap it up with the final game. This might be the best game of the day because it's Vegas. They're one of the better teams in the NHL, and certainly the way San Jose's playing, not just all season, but especially of late. This could be one of your better games here for Sunday, and it's the late game, 8 p.m. Eastern, the last game to drop the puck. Vegas minus 150, road favorite, 6.5 the total here in this game. Well, you know what we're doing here. Over 6.5 is a no-brainer. What are you going to do? How do you stop riding this streak at this point? 11-0-1 over the total for San Jose in the last 12 games. It's not just that, but Vegas and San Jose, both meetings this year, flew over the total head-to-head. Golden Knights versus Sharks. 5-1 to the over in the last 6 meetings between Vegas and San Jose as well. Vegas starting to heat up offensively again the last few games as well. Meanwhile, San Jose, it goes without saying how good they've been offensively during this stretch. Macklin Celebrini's just taking over games, making his impact felt, whether it's scoring, whether it's setting up his teammates. He's just been dynamite during this 6-1 run here for the San Jose Sharks going into this game. So it's really as simple as just keep riding this streak. Now, goaltending-wise, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I don't think Carter Hart's available for Vegas. We saw Akira Schmid get the start last night against St. Louis in that victory. So you're either playing Akira Schmid on a back-to-back, or you're probably going to turn to Carl Lindbaum in net here for the Vegas Golden Knights, who has started a small handful of games this year, and his numbers aren't particularly great with the 1-4-2 record, 1-6 in Lindbaum's appearances this year, 7 starts, 1-6, 3.14 goals against average, 870 save percentage here. Vegas has won 10 straight against San Jose, and I know I've taken San Jose at least once earlier this season. I think maybe even twice, and they lost both games. I'm a little hesitant. Sometimes team has your number. But I am very tempted by San Jose here, plus 130, or at the very least, San Jose team total over. Maybe that might be the way to go, because I don't know if they're shutting down Vegas, but I know they can probably score goals. That much they have shown me. So the over 3 for San Jose is in that minus. We can do the flat 3 again at BetMGM, Bet Rivers, over 3, minus 108. I think that might be worth a look, but hands down, my favorite look in this game is just full game over 6.5. Keep riding the wave here with San Jose overs. Alex, what do you think here, Vegas, San Jose?
I'm on the over bifecta, but I went with the first period over at flat 2 at MGM plus 120. There's some 2.5s you find at plus 190 at other shops. You can get that 2 flat at plus 120 with that first period over. And then, like I said, 6.5, got minus $1.20 over at MGM as well.
All right, prop-wise, again, with San Jose, we've talked about a lot of their props in recent games, and a lot of it has been, a lot of the same cast of characters rotating as far as the props we've been betting with them lately. We bet a lot of Igor Chernyshov lately. We're interested in Pavel Regenda right now. Obviously, Celebrini's on fire. Tyler Toffoli's starting to heat up right now. Hell, even Skinner, the other Skinner, Jeff Skinner, got on the board for them yesterday. So a variety of good options right now for the San Jose Sharks at this point. You know what's amazing about San Jose? 5-1. They keep finding ways. They don't quit. They came back to beat Dallas yesterday. There's still a good amount of key players out. Kurashev's on IR. Will Smith's been out for a long period of time, although he's getting closer and closer to a return. And here they are, still finding ways right now, no question. So Tomas Hertl, as Jonathan says in the chat, former Shark, now with Vegas, 3 goals this season against his old team. So the player angle, that makes sense. Not bargain bin price, but still good enough. Plus, 220, 230 for Tomas Hertl for Vegas, maybe to find the back of the net against his old team. And keep that in mind. I'm trying to see what else. We've talked about how some of these players down the lineup, too, have been decent lately. Riley Smith you know how streaky Riley Smith is? And here he is starting to heat up again for the Vegas Golden Knights. This could be a good Riley Smith goal prop game for Vegas. Howden's been good on the third line, chipped in a little bit. So those are some of the Vegas goal props that I'm interested in here for this game, and a game we think we should see goals in tonight with the Golden Knights and the Sharks. All right, shout out to everyone in the chat. And by the way, Shea Theodore came back last night, so I'm sure Vegas very happy to have him back, no question. All right, shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Make sure you get to wizardsportspicks.com. Tons of great handicappers. We got the NFL wildcard premium picks available for me there. It's been a great NFL season, 70-42, 63%. Unbelievable NFL season. Even I can't believe how good it's been. But it's been absolutely tremendous. NHL, NBA, college basketball, NFL, currently year-to-date profitable in every sport, in all 4 of those sports. So make sure you check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. And, of course, get to the Patreon page, patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 per month. Goalie charts, totals charts, bonus content, live betcasts, 2 of them coming up later this month, exclusive to Patreon members. And, of course, the daily betting card. That betting card was pretty good yesterday. Sides, totals, player props, posted each and every day on the Patreon page. So get on board. Your membership and subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long-term for free. So make sure you check it out. $10 per month, patreon.com/Ice Guys.
And also check out the Ice Guys store at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. We've got caps, we've got hats, we got T-shirts, jackets, sweatshirts, you name it, we've got it with some great designs. So you definitely want to check that out right now. That's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
Bargain bin special of the night, best bets, coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check them out, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code ICEGUYS. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this 5-pack of Sunday games in the NHL. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain bin special of the night.
Yeah, let's head on down to the Music City. You got Washington taking on Nashville. And like the Capitals to win that game, like I said, Nashville's had a bad trend, 1-5 on the second night of back-to-backs. So we're going to go Washington money line time with Alexei Protas to get an anytime goal. That parlay is plus 351, so it makes it within bargain range. So Protas goal with the Capitals win. That's my bargain bin special for this Sunday.
All right, there you have it. Good stuff indeed. I got 2. I'm going to run it back with Lawson Crouse, man. Lawson Crouse for the Utah Mammoth. You're still going to give me bargain bin price, and you're still going to have him on the top line. That is bargain bin material. Plus 310, the best price out there right now with Lawson Krause for the Utah Mammoth. That's my first bargain bin. My second one will come from the Vegas and San Jose game. And I think I am going to ride the hot hand that is Riley Smith for the Vegas Golden Knights. Plus 435. Again, this is a streak goal scorer right now for the Vegas Golden Knights. And he is starting to heat up here the last few games for them. He has now scored in 2 of the last 5, 4 of the last 10. And you are getting a very good price. Plus 430 for Riley Smith here to find the back of the net tonight. So 2 goal props in this game. We've got Lawson Krause, Utah, plus 310. Riley Smith, Vegas, plus 430 for my 2 bargain bin specials for this Sunday. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Yeah, let's head on out to the Bay Area, San Jose. We like goals in that game. That's been the trend with San Jose. You can get minus $1.20 with that over 6.5. So we'll go with Vegas and Sharks. Over 6.5 is my best bet for today.
Great stuff. That's going to be a dual best bet today. Over 6.5. Vegas and San Jose is mine as well. It's a clear best bet, easily clear best bet. There's nothing close to number 2 favorite bet for me on this board today than this one. 11-0-1 to the over for San Jose. Every game this season between these 2 teams has gone over. 5 of the last 6 overall between Vegas and San Jose have gone over the total as well. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it with this Sharks overrun. Vegas, San Jose, over 6.5, minus 120. Also my best bet here for this Sunday NHL slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Appreciate everyone joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We got another huge NFL wildcard day as well. Bills, Jags, which I like the over. 49ers, Eagles, which I don't have a strong opinion on. But, you know, I'm leery of laying it with the Eagles in that game. Personally, that's just me. Although it's hard to back the Niners on the road with the defensive injuries and how shorthanded and depleted they are on that side of the football. So that's a tough game. And I kind of think the Chargers might be live tonight on Sunday night.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And I lean with the Patriots, and I already have Eagles tied to they are the second leg of a teaser I had tied with the Bears, and they are the first leg I have tied with the Steelers tomorrow. So if you do like Eagles, to knock it down to pick them, and then I tied that with Steelers plus 9.
There you go. Let's hope the football is as good as it was yesterday. Those 2 games were tremendous.
Amazing.
No question. Great stuff. Great show. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will see you again tomorrow on Monday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.